while we were streaming, I did not know this, but apparently they were actually doing their own live stream. And shout out to the Kiwi Farms. Shout out to the Kiwi Farms. All right. They archived it. And I'm not going to go over the whole stream. I have some timestamps. I skimmed over through it. There's not that much stuff interest in it. Like, there's not that many things over. Some little key points. But yeah, it's an hour and 26. Shout out to the Kiwi Farm for saving it. And there's actually one more stream, actually. And it is I think this is like before the main one that we reacted. But basically, Julian was on this stream, his own stream, kind of talking about it. So, yeah. That's pretty much what's going on. Oh, hey, somebody. Shout out to, what is it? Somebody. First time in this chat, I believe. Sojak party. Oh, yeah. So this other thing. So there's actually quite a couple things. So there's actually something I didn't really talk about. So, and this is pertaining to the doxing thing, actually. So obviously, you guys remember in the last stream when Dingdong and Julian were talking about getting harassed and, you know, sent pizzas and all this other stuff by some schizo, right? Which, by the way, I do not support. I do not support at all. All right. I think it is quite possibly scummy to go and harass and dox people, especially what this guy was doing, where he was going around knocking houses trying to confirm, you know, where Dingdong and Julian were. And apparently he had a gun. And by the way, Dingdong and Julian have evidence of this. They have evidence, all right? And they actually talk about it a little bit on this one and on the other one too. But there's some key points that I have to point out. So I do have timestamps for this. And like I said, I have timestamps for this. I have this one open for a specific reason, actually. But yeah, But this is the stupidest thing that they could have honestly done. And this is the worst way to handle it. Oh, shit. So they leave, right? They're not... Their mic is muted.
Let's see what Biomon wants. Uh-oh. That doesn't look good. Oh, hold on. Give me a sec, guys. Let me go ahead and pause this, guys.
So something is going on. Something is going on. Julian knows.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't understand.
Sorry.
Julian is being vague
not
with
to be
me.
awkward.
So they do that, right?
You probably heard it.
We, Dee got an email in the middle of the stream that said somebody's here.
Yep.
Somebody showed up at our house, and they're probably going to come back. We called the police. We're going to have to shut the stream down for the time being. I assume that's what you want to do.
I would assume so. I mean, we could keep going if you want and see what happens.
After they not only just confirmed what just happened on stream, right, which is quite possibly one of the dumbest things you can fucking do, but they're considering continuing the stream. What?
We gotta figure out what we're doing.
Maybe we keep going for a bit here just to at least kind of discuss this, because I know probably
discuss
people would be in a position to be like, oh, don't worry about it. That's the thing. We kind of have to, because I think you guys have seen...
Please read the chat, because I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to save. I know I was able to do it.
We were never joking about any of this. I guess I have to get into that. We were never joking about any of this. Guys, it didn't even take a week.
Nope.
I don't know what we're going to do from here, obviously. That's the point. Because we were still continuing on doing everything. I guess that was what invited this. But yeah, it happened. So the thing that they were trying to do a year back, they just did it.
I don't know how they figured out why we're here.
Nope.
And instead of staying quiet, they decide to confirm it on stream. They decide to actually confirm it on stream. Are you kidding me?
It's okay, though. Who am I kidding? No, it isn't.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen now.
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. And
Why would they fucking confirm the docs on stream? Because they're panicking and stupid. I don't know why Ding Dong didn't just say, hold on, I need to go to the bathroom and see if it was a pizza or just
I don't know
not
if
say
any of you
anything
guys
about
who are
it.
here at the chat want to maybe post about this one and give this a little bit of an alert right now. If people maybe want to go kind of look into stuff off to the side on this one and figure out what's going on, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of doxing because now that people know where we are.
Yeah, and we're never going to be safe here.
It's going to spread around very quickly.
And once again, all it takes is one unhinged person. So, pretty fun. Yeah, well, yeah. We were starting to feel better, obviously, the past week here.
Yeah, we were really figuring out how we were going to proceed.
I guess if we needed some proof of what I was talking about before, you know, whatever dialogue people are trying to have at the moment to make it sound as bad as possible. Hey, so as much as everyone kept insisting over and over again that nothing really happened and no one's coming after us, oops. Yeah.
So instead of, so they're so focused on proving that it is real and that it did happen, which is what they're doing right now on stream, and retardedly saying that, oh yeah, by the way, we just got doxxed. They're not calling the cops or shutting down the stream. Like, the fuck? Here's the thing too. One was streaming, the other one was off screen. The other one off screen could have not said anything, which was Ding Dong. Ding Dong could have said nothing and waited until after the stream, or even texted Julian. Julian would have looked at it and said nothing. They could have literally stayed quiet. But no, they decided to confirm the docs.
I'm sorry a lot of people publicly got baited into this one. I, once again, said, like I said, I don't know what we're going to do now.
Shut down the stream and not say anything. You fucking idiot.
And all because of a pretty light stream that got blown out of proportion.
Where you tried to be nice.
I did. Might be worth doing.
This is the thing in question. So this came out. So basically what happened is that they delivered, this crazed maniac delivered a pizza to them. By the way, this is censored because I have the docs there. So yeah, take a figure or take a guess. So yeah, this idiot, instead of like...
Damn. I guess that's the biggest thing I learned. You can force this on someone.
No, the biggest lesson to take away is that maybe you shouldn't open your fucking mouth and you should actually stay quiet. That's the biggest takeaway here.
You can just insist that somebody deserves a problem like this. And when you try to warn people about it, they might not listen to you, and then it gets to happen. Oh well. We're going to do the best that we can. You all stay safe out there. We're going to try to stay safe out there.
It's just so... Okay, so this is just completely... Alright, so yeah, that's what basically fucking happened. Alright. And by the way... So here we go into this stream. So this stream, I believe, was taken before... So I think this stream actually came out before the one that we saw, the 24-hour macaroni stream. So yeah. Doctors are idiots for doxing. GD are idiots for confirming. Yes, absolutely. It's one of the things that you just do not do. For guys who've been on the internet for 10 plus fucking years, you don't admit to something like that happening. You just don't. I don't understand why that's so like complicated to understand. And that's what, and I'm going to get into, because I guess some people had an issue or didn't really understand my position on these guys last stream, and I'll make it clear after we're done with this segment, because there's some stuff actually in this video that I kind of want to go over, and even in this one to an extent as well, because this was done. So this stream right here, like I said, was after or during my stream, and this one was a bit before. But all right, so we're gonna go to, so he actually doesn't talk about it for a good while until, what is it, 57, and I think that's when they, so I think this stream, because Julian comes in, or not Julian, sorry, Ding Dong comes in and realizes how big it has gotten. And we're talking, and I think he pretty much looked at the Kiwi farms and saw how much traction it was gaining. Rightfully so, by the way.
And that they didn't want to bring it up.
Oh, no, I think it has to be brought up because, if anything, our lives are going to be in probably a lot of danger now. They
In reference to that other thing.
already were. Because, once again, a lot of people already kind of understood what was going on. Yes, there's still shots being taken at us in the back and everything, too, and they have been for years. And that's why saying anything about it is the problem. We really were supposed to kind of go away. And unfortunately, yeah, this is where a lot is going to be at for God knows how long. I already actually was messaging some of the people we used to know after that stream anyways, and seeing if I could figure out talking to them, because even though I wasn't happy about how my conversations with Aaron went, you know, the thing about atonement was the other phrase, just saying like yuck for the fact that at the same time, I'm not going to hold a lot of resentment towards that, because he at least understood the situation. I know he's really concerned about his image and everything. It's a little bit unfortunate that sometimes these things can't be taken a bit more serious than that. But at the same time, too, I mean, he's obviously recognized a lot of this and knows what this looks like. It's why he probably was partially even talking to me about some of it. But, we've gotten to see that if people are trying to distance from any of this,
Taurus.
a finger is always pointed at them.
Oh shit, I'm reading chats. Essentially, some people got a hold of Julian, dingdong talk, and sent him a pizza, but instead of saying quiet, like, yeah, that's pretty much what they did. I'm back with homeless flatbread pizza. I want pizza now. I probably will cook pizza after the stream. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. We're going over this.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to say any of this. Now you could just say OneyPlays, right? Like, since the Band-Aid is ripped off, you could just say that's the problem.
I would broaden it, because I would say Newgrounds, because
I don't understand. So one thing that I never understood in this one, even in the other one, why they're saying that, like they're acting like this is the first time that they can finally say the name OneyPlays, even though they clearly have stated who they're talking about and everyone can figure it out. I don't know where this idea came from that, we cannot say the name OneyPlays. Everyone can figure it out. We know where you guys came from, and we know who you guys are talking about, Chris. So, yeah.
reason that Aaron has had a weird situation.
It's true. They both came from Newgrounds, right?
They both came from
Hey, so yeah, if anybody was confused by the fact that I kept saying don't go to Newgrounds, it's because it's really dangerous and our lives have been threatened for like a decade over this.
No.
The specific people that we were around have really...
And again, they have not, somehow the FBI, the cops haven't really gotten involved, even though they said in the last stream that they were going to get the cops involved, and yet nothing has happened. And trust me, they say something else about that too, actually, and they do have evidence about what's been going on.
Really bad fandoms that go out and attack anybody who criticizes their fandom. And we've been trying to avoid it for many years. And this is why I ban people who come in with OneyPlays references. Yeah. Because I automatically expect that they're dangerous.
You're such a fucking schizo.
You can also speak to that. I'm usually a lot more lenient about that.
I've been trying to tell Ding Dong to like open up about it for all this time, and he really wanted to avoid conflict, but the conflict is here now.
Because you guys made it. Because you guys kept saying the same thing over and over, and people finally got fed up. And on top of that, OneyPlays is growing every single day with new fans and everything. So obviously there's also going to be that audience coming in wondering what happened with you guys. And then what do they see? They tune into one of your guys' stream and they see how fucking, what is it? Oh, fuck, what's the right word? How cynical you guys are and how miserable.
And that was the thing I did. I finally opened up about it because we were starting to get everything to happen again. For the context, because, yeah, someone over on the website was even asking for it. If anybody's over in the chat on the website, feel free to go drop it. That's where they're hovering right now. I can tell a lot of people are trying to make problems over on the website. And
they talk a little bit about, like, people coming problems in their fucking website. I don't give a fuck about that. Fuck that. Let's see. The other one is 102. Oh, yeah. This.
Well, like I said, I don't think that in your stream.
You're open to talk about things at this point. If we're going to get hurt, we are. I know it's not going to be taken well. I know it's going to be very threatening. I know that the people behind the scenes who already had been threatening us over the years will really be going probably the hardest they ever have. Because
so I don't know if he can either be referring here to the people like Game Grumps and OneyPlays, or he can be talking about the Doxers. That's the one thing he doesn't really make it perfectly clear. Again, you have to like sit through a lot of stuff to kind of get it, but I think he's talking about the OneyPlays.
This was the thing that they were ever really afraid of, was us kind of acknowledging that we didn't have a good time. Not even really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is the OneyPlays people.
I mean, to go much further than that. Just acknowledging that we didn't really get along.
Yeah, this is the thing that does annoy me, is that they don't really say the name, so sometimes when you could easily mistaken them talking about the Doxers, or they could be talking about the OneyPlays people. And that's something that annoys me, is that they just don't they refer to them as the same person. They don't differentiate them because they're afraid of name dropping, even though they fucking do that all the fucking time. That's why you have to really pay attention to what they say.
It's why we did just keep it very short, saying we want to move on. It's never going to be short, especially after this is not.
No, these people are not going to want it to move on.
I'm really sorry, because I know you've already been having enough of a hard time with your own stress, because people are trying to make it a thing again in recent months here.
Maybe it'll help.
That's rude, not gonna lie. Banning the same people who were afraid of that era who were fans of that era. It's their iDubbbz arc. Exactly. Exactly. Like, there's probably even a good chunk of fans who just, like, genuinely like them because they're entertaining, and they go in there into their chat to talk to them or just to interact, and they just get fucking banned. Just because Julian is so superstitious.
That, like, I don't have to hide it anymore. Like, that does remove one source of stress. But certainly adding on to the threat of death is, like, not... I don't know if they're comparable. So, I hope we don't die. That would be nice.
Yeah, I would like to not die. The thing is, it's a really weird emotional state to be in right now. It's also why, you know, obviously the insults don't fucking mean anything. It's just people making it clear they've got their biases, you know, they're going to be on the side of, and that's fine. That's how internet stuff goes anyways. That's why talking about anything, you're not going to get people taking it serious. You're just going to get people looking for harm through it all. But I don't even feel afraid anymore.
Are you sure?
I just kind of feel numb. Because this is playing out exactly how I was already kind of expecting it to, admittedly, even during...
I mean, you've been preparing for this for years. Yeah. You have all your, like, documents and stuff.
No, I do have everything. It really...
Keep in mind, they literally said, I have all my documents and stuff.
We have to escalate to a point like that. The reason I never pulled a lot of this stuff out is because it never did escalate to a point like that.
But yet, they've been talking about this and alluding to this for 10 fucking plus years, and they've said multiple times that they talked about this over the 10 years. And yet, not once did they ever think, maybe we should drop some of the stuff to add credence, and maybe people can stop bugging us about it. And that's the thing. People keep coming back and asking about it over and over, because you guys haven't really provided any ounce of evidence. And that's the same thing when it comes to commentary channels, or really any drama channels. That's why they dislike them, because they don't like... Because they think that just because you criticize them, or ask for evidence, or, you know, ask for anything, or question their claims, they automatically think that you're, like, on the OneyPlays side. And that's the one thing that's honestly annoying about these two miserable fucks.
Because I ultimately never did want to fight, and, you know, that is a thing that we could get into right now. When we were recording again and everything, you remember what it was like, right? I think I was giving way too much space to things. And
I mean, I certainly felt that way, but you were telling me I was wrong for a very long time.
Because, at the same time, this was what I was worried about, obviously, was the conflict. You always wanted to speak up, and I never thought you were necessarily wrong for wanting to.
Okay, so think about that for a moment. Julian feels uncomfortable, all right? He feels like there's something going on wrong. And Ding Dong feels the same way. But then he's telling Julian, hey, no, you're just crazy. It's not how that is. And then it turns out he's just protecting him. What? That makes no sense. That's so stupid. That's actually just the dumbest thing ever.
You said that about...
If both of you are feeling the same way, you should actually do something about it and not put up with it.
My approach was bad.
Yes, because to be fair, so was mine. I don't think there's an approach you can take. That's why my original plan, when you remember we were back at the office, was just don't talk to anybody and just kind of slowly get out of there and let people forget about you.
That was never going to happen, by the way.
But,
think about that for a moment. They were a crucial part in OneyPlays' history, and yet they thought that they were just going to fade away. That's really fucking stupid. That was never going to happen.
No, if anything, someone coming out armed again, I wouldn't be surprised.
You have the full stream. Maybe you want to upload it.
I don't.
What do you mean you don't?
I don't. I'm not going through Cloudflare anymore.
You told me that you were saving all your streams anyway.
Only when it was the more major ones. Experimental streams I wasn't saving, like the Super Nintendo one.
You didn't think this one of all streams would be...
I probably should have. You're right on that. The thing is, it also went for 18 hours, I think. So it was a very long stream. Maybe it wasn't 18. I think it was like 6.
So you have... I shouldn't talk about
it. It's okay. Well, it's okay, because what I was going to get at on that one is, it just proves that people do. They already have the full one.
Yeah, but they're not going to give it to you.
Well, that's the thing. That's why they cut it down.
Yeah.
They cut it down because of the intention.
Let's go to another time.
I kind of don't really want to get into these things again after this point, because the Band-Aid is ripped off now. There's no reason.
You're going to have to talk about it for that reason, because people are going to be bringing it up to you without context for the rest of your life.
Where am I?
By the way, that's just going to be with any drama, and any creator has to fucking deal with that at all. Like, that's just something they're going to have to deal with. And sadly, that's just the truth of it.
Feel free to. It's going to keep blowing up. People are really trying to spread it around and make it into a big thing. This was, for anyone who wouldn't know, this is what the fear was kind of the entire time, was because of who got us hurt in some cases. It's going to be a thing of you will never, ever, ever be able to talk about this. A lot of people want to see bad things happen, and you're going to be treated as a villain for having something bad happen to you. And saying anything about it is wrong. Not saying anything about it is wrong. Making distance is wrong. It's all towards the idea of you have to prop up somebody like this and just make room for them, otherwise you're going to be threatened.
I don't know what's the reason people keep talking about commenting, because I don't think that would be a good thing. I don't think that's going to help.
Oh, no, commenting on the video? They're deleting all the comments.
Yeah, exactly. They're just they're going to get rid of anything.
That's why if someone is recording this, I'm sure they'll edit this part out. But yeah, the person who uploaded it has also been intentionally going and deleting comments because people were trying to give context to it and they kept deleting them. I only just heard about this seriously a few minutes ago. Where had brought it up to me. And I wasn't really surprised. I had mentioned it, I think even during the stream I mentioned it. Weird viewer count that maintained itself and kept up and everything too. Lots of suspicious new user accounts. In fact, we had about 60 new accounts during that stream, which was very, very, very suspect. That's the thing though. This is how internet engagement works. Someone can notice the obvious and be able to piece that together and even be able to preemptively say things in relation to it, and you can just as easily go, schizo? Paranoid? Well, it's not paranoia, it's just what you're doing. Because that is what just happened. No, we've been able to tell because the thing is, we've had to be dealing with this for like a decade now. Raid attempts, all this shit. People have been going at it for a long, long time. We usually do just keep our heads down about it. Oh.
No, you don't. You literally admitted to talking about this for years and years and years. Again. And this is what I hate. They think that, like, they honestly, they're like so close-minded on like what they think the reaction is going to be when that's probably not even true. All right, and I'm going to get more into what I mean by that, honestly.
Oh my god. Werema specifically, I remember it was like horrifying starting as a moderator that I had to see just the time. We barely could afford rent. We were in no position to combat any of it. Yep.
Oh, this is another thing. So, actually, I can get into this. So, earlier they brought up how they have evidence, right? You think that maybe they're, saving it for a lawsuit or something, because, I mean, you can make a case, they were working under very terrible conditions. They were treated, especially Ding Dong, he was drove to the point of suicide because of the Game Grumps staff. You think that maybe, there's a lawsuit there. This is what they have to say about that.
Only become a problem if they're not focused on the right person. If it's Ego Raptor, it's okay. If it's anybody else, it is not. Nobody handled this stuff well at the time. I even say it a lot during it. That's why I would encourage people, go ahead, listen to the full audio.
Faison, we don't have the money for a lawyer right now.
Oh, no, we don't. We never had money for a lawyer. That was part of the reason this was also scary at the time. We barely could afford rent. We were in no position to combat any of this. And even with all of it too, it's why I always did.
Some lawyers will work pro bono, but I don't think this is the sort of thing where they go, "Ooh, I could make a lot of money."
No, and they've got the money to be able to combat it if they're going to. And what it would just be is lots of legal fees. Because, like I said, I have everything. I don't even want a lawsuit. I didn't even want to fight to begin with. But that's
yeah. All that evidence that he says he has, it's not even going to be for a lawsuit. Yeah. So, really, realistically, there's really no reason to save all that. And they keep saying, oh, we didn't want to fight. We didn't want to... So what the fuck have you guys been doing this whole entire time where you guys have just been quiet and just talking massive shit on so many streams for 10 fucking years, but yet, one, you don't want a massive fight out of it, yet B, you get really annoyed when fans keep talking about it and bringing it up, but then C, you don't want a lawsuit out of it. Again, makes no sense.
the problem too. The way that this kind of...
And keep in mind, this has been stressing them out for years, particularly Julian. All right, to the point where he is afraid of seeing anything Smiling Friends, Digital Circus, or Hotel related media. Which, by the way, I know OneyPlays is friends with the creator or has done a collab with Smiling Friends, but what the fuck does Has Been Hotel have anything to do with it? Just because they had one cameo from Zach? Like, come on now.
The thing works, bad faithing it and everything too, it doesn't matter. It's supposed to be, you kind of just lose either way here. If you don't do anything, you lose. If you do something, you lose. Are you still making things? You lose. Are you not making things? You lose.
Such a stupid mindset, honestly.
We weren't supposed to be in some kind of winnable spot here. It was meant to be a lose-lose. The winning move would have been not playing. And unfortunately, we didn't have the context for all this until it was too late.
You guys started the game, though. Like, arguably, you guys started the game when you guys started saying shit. Alright, let's go to the other timestamp. We're almost done here, ladies and gentlemen.
He was telling you how you need to start saying things to me because it's more effective.
I'll go into it if we really have to, because it sounds it's like not it
like
would require too much to explain.
The Band-Aid is off. The Band-Aid really.
Yeah, but I would need to get into it. I'd need to be like, oh, this is the sort of thing that happens all the time, and people were always trying to get us to fight with each other. Like, you know, it would need to be I would need to explain so much. It's true.
He recognized that at the beginning too. For a very brief moment, he understood everyone.
They're talking about Chris right here, by the way.
Was trying to get us to fight. But then the pressures of what everyone kept trying to stir up around us did get to him. It got to everybody. Got to Aaron, got to everybody. Everyone was so, panicked about the audience. And then I was stupid because I thought if you're calm enough about it and at least just acknowledge these things, there's room to move on and everyone could just, figure it out. But that was wrong. With enough time passing and people trying to reignite these things, I figured if I at least let people know, yes, we made mistakes too. Literally everybody here. There's no good guys. And ultimately, these were personal things.
Sorry. I mean, this is unfortunately, if we've got the Band-Aid off, this is unfortunately the biggest problem that we've had this entire time.
Yeah.
Ever since the beginning.
The creator of Has Been Hotel was a Doodle Dods with Chris and Ross on Game Grumps. Oh, I didn't know that. That's actually pretty cool. Which, by the way, I know she has her own issues as well. I'm not saying she's a fucking saint, but even still, though. To fucking throw her into the fucking same ecosphere as them. Seriously?
telling you, you're trying to approach this like an actual logical person, and these people are not logical. Your logic doesn't work. It is useless in this
Well, can we
situation.
throw it over to you then? Because like I said, I don't care what you say at this point. Just be careful to one degree. Don't go too far, because
Okay, so he says this, that Game Grumps only plays, they at first they were all fine with it, they didn't have an issue, but obviously they got annoyed. Let me just take a guess at what happened. All right, when they first talked about this over and over so many times in the 10 plus years, yeah, Chris and all of them probably got annoyed, and they probably did try to talk with you guys and sort everything out. But of course, Julian, there's a good chance Julian was being held back by Ding Dong because he didn't want any more conflict. So what I'm guessing is that they pulled a tipster where they say they have a problem in public, but then when confronted on private, they say, it's not no big deal. It's just that we had a couple issues. And then these guys try to pry it out of him. All right. Try to sort it out. And they just say, yeah, everything's fine, just to get the conversation over with. And then who knows, maybe cut to a couple streams later, then they're talking about it. So yeah, I don't blame them for getting mad where you guys are talking about the same thing over and over and over, and they have multiple conversations with you guys to like sort it out, and it just keeps going back to base one over and over and over. All right. And I'm guessing this time the audience has had enough, because nothing has been shown in those 10 plus years. No text messages, no voice calls, no nothing. Again, I said this before on last stream. I don't expect everything to be recorded, but these guys have stated that they have something. Show us the fucking evidence. It's so infuriating.
that's what I was always scared about with your.
I know, and I think
ready to, well, I got to bring this up.
Go ahead. You can.
I'm gonna be upfront about everything. We both
can.
may as well, because we always have been.
You can.
At the time, the reason we were partially having arguments even at home about talking about these things, I didn't want to talk about Dream Daddy actually, but
I pushed him into it.
I said it was going to get us hurt. I was really worried about what it was going to do, and I was really insistent on, no, I already had a plan here, 2 years, and we can move our way off of this one. But we did talk about it, we organized notes with everybody, because there was this feeling of, at least if you handle it the right way, maybe it'll be okay, and it was not. And the reason it was not is not because all these creators were so angry with each other or something already. They were to a degree. The problem is this audience fucking scares all of them.
Yes.
And it was pressuring everyone to get into arguments. For example, Aaron, I don't think he would have actually lashed out the way that he did at the time if it weren't for the fact that, yes, people have been trying to make conflict happen with him since the start. There's a lot of people who have been trying to get us to go at each other's throats the whole time. And like I said early on, Chris did recognize that too. And that's why he was saying, don't fall for this stuff. But I'm not sure when he kind of had his own moment of succumbing to it and getting overly worried about what other people...
Because I think a lot of people got sucked into like the political culture war stuff. He wasn't as much
I hate how they keep bringing up this political culture war stuff. Like, what the fuck does that have anything to do with?
at the time, but he got a lot worse as the years went on, to the point where like being MAGA was like his only identity by the end. I think by the end, at the beginning, the point that you're talking about, he was a little bit more of a human.
Yeah, I would say. He was a little more open-minded at the start, even though he still had these tendencies and everything. In terms of, like, well, where does he even, like, fall in, like, politically and everything? Because I know people want to say, like, well, he's like, no.
Oh my god, they just keep talking about the stupid politics about it. This has nothing to do with fucking politics. So fucking stupid. Alright, let's go to the next time. We got, like, 2 more, and then we'll get to the other stream.
But no, we're going to be probably in the most danger we've ever been in now. Which is saying something, because it was pretty bad back then. We knew this moment was coming, and like I said, if it gets far enough, I do have everything. I do have everything backed up and saved, I do have it all, but simultaneously, it's not a thing I ever wanted to do because I didn't want it to be a whole thing anyways. I know somebody would be like, well, then why did you talk about it? Because also, not talking
Because people, I can cut you off right there. People won't leave us alone. Literally every day somebody comes to say something about it. It's inescapable. They're in the most popular fucking cartoon in the world right now. It will never go away. That was the idea.
And we still get weirdness around it too. You'll have people reach out thinking that you're a connection to, and they start acting weird around you because they want to get a connection going. I had it happen too.
Okay, well, fans like that are just stupid, but literally, like, yeah, one of your buddies, Smiling, Zach, he's on OneyPlays. So yeah, obviously by correlation, it's going to attract new fans. That's what I mean by OneyPlays is growing. When Smiling Friends was popular, so was OneyPlays. That's just how it's going to happen. And guess what? When new fans are watching OneyPlays, they're going to go look back and see, oh, hey, there was other members here, and these are pretty funny episodes. So again, by correlate, that's just how it works. I'm sorry that there's going to be new fans asking questions and wondering what happened. And then when they see all these like clips and streams of you guys talking about OneyPlays, complaining about them, of course they're going to bring it up. Of course they're going to talk about it. That's just natural. That's what happens whenever there's past members that whenever there's a group and they add new members or something, or there's a big event, of course they're gonna go look into the history and talk to, or interact with the old members, or you know what I fucking mean. That's just gonna happen. That's natural. But these guys don't fucking get that through their thick skull, and they're paranoid. Especially Julian, where he thinks that every single OneyPlays fan is just some unhinged schizo who's gonna harass him. And I'm not saying that hasn't happened, but to say that's all of them is just crazy and bad faith.
We've been trying to keep our distance from all of it really hard here, but it doesn't matter if you do. You're just going to have people upset with you because, once again, you stepped away from it, and it is a popular thing. People are following all this. It doesn't matter if you say things like, hey, you can still watch them, and even through a lot of this, we fucked up too. We took things too far in some cases as well. We overreacted a bit sometimes. Sometimes that we were being naive as well. Yeah, I was trying to find an answer down the middle, and that was really foolish on my end.
I wouldn't necessarily say foolish, just that it wasn't going to work.
It wasn't going to work.
But unfortunately, as you keep saying, the problem is no approach would.
No, it was going to be bad no matter what. But I'll state it again since it's been enough minutes here. If somebody is documenting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the person who uploaded the video, by the way, has been deleting content.
You just keep complaining about that. I don't even know if that's true or not.
That was the biggest lesson I took from this is honesty will get you hurt. The reason you're
Oh, this is such a stupid thing. This is so stupid.
acknowledging, it's just going to always be conflict. And if you're going to be living a lifestyle like this where you're willing to be open about things, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
That was the biggest lesson I took from this is honesty will get you hurt. The reason your parents tell you to be honest in a lot of cases when growing up is
It's because they want to catch you lying.
yeah, they want to catch you lying and just punish you.
That's
And then you go,
not
I don't
the
get it. I
lesson.
told the truth and I got hurt. Yeah,
That's
that's
not
what tends
the
to happen. That's why a lot of
lesson.
people fall back into lying. That's why a lot of these guys were terrified about their audiences and everything.
That's not
Some of
the
the
lesson.
people over the years have gotten better. Some of them I don't really know. Others seem to what the pressures of internet and where it's going right now really get to them. What with the discussions and talks that we have, like I said, I don't hold it against anybody if they hate us off of this.
The lesson is the fact that maybe when you guys are saying when you guys are saying a bunch of stuff, maybe actually have something to back it up. That's the fucking lesson. Like, yeah, you guys may be telling the truth. So you guys may be, but how the fuck how can we verify the truth? How can we when you guys don't want to release anything, and then when asked, you guys say it's personal? All right, where's the fucking last timestamp? I have one more last timestamp. Oh yeah, this I just fucking. So, keep in mind, throughout this entire stream, they still talk about it. They loop, and then we get right here.
Tell everybody everything that happened. I don't remember if you were there or not. Chris literally said to me, you were free to tell everybody everything that happened.
Yeah, he
Because
did.
he wanted me to say bad things about other people.
Yes, he was encouraging me to talk about Aaron all the time too.
And so that's partially why I've been pretty outspoken about things. I just didn't name specific names.
Yeah.
I said the things that we went through, and that's been out there. People have known for many, many years. They
Yes.
just ignored it when it was inconvenient.
Yes.
And now we've gotten to the point where we can't ignore it anymore.
Yes, because now it's a little too connected, and now people can't just go and swing it all at the one person they wanted to.
We've gotten
Actually, you
to
know
the
what,
point
hold on,
where
go back. That's
If anything, I feel bad on that too. That people don't take you as like an individual.
actually
The thing that you're already complaining about being like dehumanized, I guess to go with that too. We get to be treated like the same person. It's why people can make lump sum statements about both of us over and over again when we are two people. We are two different people.
no, not really. You guys pretty much act the
But
same. You guys are
yeah,
miserable.
how about that? People are still going to keep making this a thing. And I made my quote-unquote mistake, which was acknowledging the same things I've already acknowledged, and a lot of this is just a continuation of what I already brought up previously anyways. And someone will go, well, you were more direct this time. We've talked about this already. We talked about it at the time, too.
We've been talking about it for years and years and years.
Yes.
Here's one of the things that I've been waiting to mention. At one point, Chris literally said to me, I don't remember if you were there or not. Chris literally said to me, you were free to tell everybody everything that happened.
Yeah, he
Because
did.
he wanted me to say bad things about other people.
Yes.
Just fucking throw him under the bus.
He was encouraging me to talk about Aaron all the time, too.
And so that's partially why I've been pretty outspoken about things. I just didn't name specific names.
Yeah.
I said the
That
things
would've
that we
been
went through,
interesting.
and that's been out there.
That would
People
have been
have
interesting
known
if you said that, but I guess
for many,
not.
many years. They
Yes.
just ignored it when it was inconvenient.
Yes.
And now we've gotten to the point where we can't ignore it anymore.
Yes. Because now it's a little too connected, and now people can't just go and swing it all at the one person they wanted to swing it at. So now we're to the problem. It goes in line with everything I talked about during the stream. I mentioned people weren't genuinely sympathetic during all that when it happened. In fact, they were thrilled that we got hurt. The only thing that anyone was giving it was that they wanted to swing it back at Aaron. That was all they cared about. Aaron knew that too. And at the time, a lot of people really did want to get Aaron hurt in some cases as well. As time went on, then it was, yeah, I don't want to hear about him anymore. I wish this didn't have to be happening. But that's the issue. When you feed into this shit and you start doing some of this, you're going to get people doing it forever.
This is the same stuff.
Yeah,
like
it
I've
really
said
should have
this
been video
so
game
many
videos. It really
fucking
should have been.
times.
But business got in the way, and so did also the pressures of what internet culture is.
So Julian makes the claim that Chris told him to talk about it, and then Ding Dong says Chris also told me to talk about this whole stuff. Again, it's a fucking never-ending cycle with these two. All right. Again, they're making a statement, and then there's just nothing to back it up. That's just it. There's nothing to back it up. Now, granted, this could have been said face to face, or maybe for a text for all we know, but we'll never know, right? And I don't think Chris will even talk about it either. Not that I'm aware of. He hasn't said anything, by the way. He has not put out a tweet or even said anything on any of his videos. So yeah.
But that said, I think it's a lot more reasonable to think that Julian's macaroni and cheese comment is like side baiting. And if you, 4792, and, which by the way, that's not a real thing. I'm using an example of it just starts sounding like babbling and doesn't make any sense anymore, because that is also the kinds of people who tend to obsess about this. People who don't make a lot of sense. People who are just kind of conjuring up their own reality for the sake of just making conflict. How is it that someone can talk about something like that incident with a gun, for example, and then you go, that was bad of you to say that? You're not talking to a serious person at that point, obviously. Macaroni and cheese comment thing really lends itself to something there. But that's why they're doing it.
It's pretty wacky.
They're doing it because, yes, we're around. That post exposed people to the fact that we're around again. A lot of people tried to make a whole resurgence happen on things that Julian talked about a decade ago. And then the things I talked about during that stream were from a decade ago to like fucking 5 years ago.
Because it's still fucking relevant to this day.
And if you're wondering, yes, Chris has to deal with a lot of it too, and that's why sometimes he's also getting so frustrated himself. The way that he handled the Eek finale was very messy, but I know he was also doing it because after he said...
He knew that people were going to attack him.
Yes. That's why he wasn't sure how to handle it, and that's why sometimes he was throwing it more towards our direction, because he felt like, well...
At least shift the blame.
Yes.
I'm very sorry, yeah, this is why I've been telling everybody fandom's a bad idea. It drives people crazy.
It drives you guys crazy because you guys literally don't know how to handle it. You guys talk about how you guys went about it. You guys went like arguably the worst way possible. But yeah, I mean, they're just saying, like, they just keep throwing shit, and they keep saying like, oh, Chris told us to talk about it. Okay, so Chris let you talk about it. So then say all of it. All right. And then if Chris then turns around and says, I never told any of you, well, then that's when you also turn on Chris or expose him for being a liar. Again. These guys don't really fucking think. But they pretty much go on a fucking loop. Again, all the stuff they say here is the same thing they've said in the 9-hour stream. It's just looping over and over and over, and then adding more. And then while they're saying it over again, they add more details, and then they go for another loop, and then adding more details. It just becomes so fucking convoluted and so frustrating. So this leads us to this final stream right here, the final one. All right. I guess for now, I don't know if he's streaming now or in between the time, but this is the last. After this, yeah, and I don't even know why I had this up right here, but anyways, this right here is the aftermath. So this was done after everything blew up. This was made during my stream, so yeah. Let's see, where are my timestamps? Okay, here we go. This fucking, where is it? And again, shout out to the Kiwi Farms for archiving this. They do come in handy. Right here. Boom. Hopefully this loads. Oh, for fuck's sake. You gotta be kidding me. Are you serious? Is it actually not working? No mama's way. Bro. Ugh, come on. Do not do this to me.
To understand his emotions a bit better, to push. And I'll stress it again. I don't have any issues with people going back and just enjoying the old content. Even if there was, like, messiness between everybody. Everybody was trying so hard to still bring laughs, even if they couldn't get along all the time. I don't like having somebody at home sometimes to rile me up and amp me up about things and, like, make it sound like everything is so much worse than it is. That's something that we've been kind of struggling with a bit. I've been trying to keep him happier. I want Julian to be able to be happy. Man, I did not mean to do that backflip. I want to be able to do so much more for him. But it's been pretty difficult. Even our own friends have been having a hard time figuring out how to kind of handle it. And he's got a lot of things just sort of there from when he was younger, growing up. He had a lot of his own trauma growing up, and if it's the wrong place for the personal setting, or it might not really need, even if it's the wrong place for the wrong time or the wrong setting, or it might not really need to, it's so personal. And things out whenever he had a lot of his own trauma growing up, and he kind of just feels a need to blurt things out whenever he sees something that's wrong. Even if it's the wrong place for the wrong time or the wrong setting, or it might not really need to, it's so personal. So it's a whole thing that he's been having difficulties with, and it's really difficult for me to, you know, communicate the value and worth of that one to him. I think this did it, at least. I think this did a really good job of showcasing that to him, though. And
here's the fucking issue, though, is that this is something that's been eating him, all right? And this is something that's happened to him, all right? And arguably, you can make the argument that this actually needs to be put out there so no person who ever works... Let's say, for the sake of argument, that OneyPlays is, you know, terrible working conditions. Same with Game Grumps. All right, let's throw both of them in. Would it not be good to kind of release that info and, you know, to kind of put it as a warning out there for future people, you know, to be careful working with them? And also to hopefully better the conditions, put it out there in the public, especially if they were that bad behind the scenes, you know, maybe get their shit fixed. In this case in particular, if it was really that bad, I think Julian coming out and talking about it was actually a good thing. Yeah, I know there's a thing, and he is right to an extent to saying releasing too much personal info or personal problems can work against you in most cases. But in this case in particular, it actually could have been good. Actually, had he have made a cohesive, and I do think he would have, maybe. I don't know. I'll give him. I'll be charitable. I think he could have put a cohesive video explaining his time, why he left. And boom, that would have been the end of that. Granted, there's always going to be people still bringing it up, still mad about it. But hey, at least you put it out there. And at least you told the story. And that's all that fucking matters. The truth is out there. And if people don't want to believe it, you can't really change their mind. And at least people will think twice before supporting OneyPlays. But that's not what happened, though. No. Ding Dong was holding Julian back.
on my own end, yeah, I'm at least glad that talking to everybody, things were able to be understood. It's just going to be a matter now if people publicly can kind of accept that and handle that.
So, if you remember in the last stream, not the one you just watched, in the last stream that I did, there was a point where Ding Dong said, if people want us to resolve things or talk this out, it's never going to happen. You know, we're never going to have a discussion about this. He was so adamant about that. He was so focused on that. And yet, when everything blew up, now let's talk. Now let's all sort everything out. Let's talk with everyone, all the parties involved. And now he's saying that everything is fixed. So you mean to tell me that for 10 fucking years, none of that was fixed? In the many conversations that you guys supposedly had, not a resolution came. But now that it's blown up for arguably the biggest time ever now things are resolved. Really, it took you 10 fucking years.
And allow everybody to finally, move forward.
That's right,
Not
we
doing
were
a
meant
team-based
like the stream.
thing or saying
Don't forget
there
to
needs to be a
and
double
comment the
down and a huge attack happening. Just actually letting everyone properly move ahead. Really, that's the biggest frustration that came off of this one, it's why we all just had talks about how we could help Julian. The biggest frustration was everyone kind of just being in a position of, again, really?
Yeah, by you.
And
by you
it
too.
is felt on my own end, too. I didn't want to have something like this happen again. I hate that rooftop star, though. It's very slippery. Don't think I could,
This is the last
though it was through the most horrible circumstances, it was also able to bring us together a little bit more, too. This was starting to create a little bit of a divide between us, and even though it was through the most horrible circumstances, it was also able to bring us together a little bit more, too.
Yeah, because you were holding
There's
him
a
back.
much firmer understanding of how we're two very different people. We are individuals, and it shouldn't be the responsibility of one individual to have to be the other individual. I just don't think that's healthy, for anything. I don't think anyone should be doing that kind of thing.
Wow.
So,
Took
if
you
you're
that
very
long to
upset
realize
about
it.
something, and you're upset that people are not talking about it, don't try to shout at people and pressure them into having to then do something about it. You have to understand everyone does have their own views and their own ways that they want to, navigate things and do things in life. Don't try to get yourself into a position like that.
Took you 10 fucking years to realize
That'd be,
that.
I'd say the advice here coming off of this one. If there's
keep
any
in mind,
reason
they
to even
almost
hear
broke up.
anything out that I'd be saying anymore at this
They
point.
almost broke up because of that.
But
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see, is there anything else here? I don't think there was anything else here that I'm missing. Well, timestamps are done, so we got nothing else on this.
Because you'll see that sometimes. There's other like furry YouTubers that people are doing that kind of thing too.
I think he just talks about random other stuff. Not much.
You saw the little bird. He'd say chirp. You'd see that logo a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I listen to this.
We're here.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it. Look. So, in conclusion, with the ding dong drama, we are basically done. We're done with it. All right. Now, what are my thoughts on ding dong? All right. And Julian, simply put it, these are my core issues with ding dong and Julian. All right. These are my core issues. One is the fact that these guys are so cynical and so negative. They are so stubborn in the mindset that they have that, oh, just because they're very sure of how everyone's going to react, how they're going to be perceived, that they don't even try. They were so sure that, you know, in the last stream that we did, they said, and Ding Dong specifically said, oh, we're never going to come to an agreement. Us talking it out, it's never going to happen. Guess what? Next stream, this one and the other one, oh, we talked it out. Like, you're already making assumptions. And then based on the fact that on the last stream they said that they had talked with them before, probably because they weren't giving the whole story 100%. Honestly, I don't think these guys were telling the whole story when they had those first couple conversations. That's why they were so sure that that nothing was going to happen. Yeah, because you guys aren't being truthful. And we have seen Ding Dong not being truthful, especially when he was talking about experience on the Oni stays, the reunion. They were having a grand old time. That didn't look like an awkward moment. All the stuff that they were saying about Chris, I think is a good chunk of it is bullshit, honestly. So yeah, not only are they very inconsistent with some of the statements that they say, but they're very hard-headed and cynical for no fucking reason. And they try to overthink things when arguably it makes things worse. They think just because they've had they let their bad experiences kind of dictate their life. That's something I've also noticed, especially Julian. They're too afraid of conflict. They're too afraid to do anything, to fight back, I guess. If that makes sense. Ding Dong has been holding Julian back. It's clear that their relationship was toxic for a good while. I mean, let's be honest. This relationship that they have, it's pretty fucking toxic, especially when they almost broke up over this fucking drama. But now I guess they've gotten closer because of it. All right? Second, they're also pretty dumb. I mean, literally confirming some guy's docs, or their own docs, confirming their own docs live on stream instead of calling the cops or not saying anything or being low-key about it is like arguably one of the dumbest things. There's a lot of things that they could have done in this own situation, but that was arguably one of the dumbest things. But toxic relationships are the best one. Yeah, tell that to fucking OJ. But yeah, no. This is the dumbest, honestly. These guys are really dumb. And I hate how they think they have so much self-awareness. They don't. They literally lack self-awareness. Completely. Another thing, I have issue. When they are telling their drama or story, they don't tell all the details right away until they go into another loop, until they do another lap, and then they release more details. And then another lap, and then more details. They don't tell a cohesive story from point to point to point. They just keep jumping around. And it becomes so frustrating to follow. And honestly, I would not blame. That's why Chris got annoyed. They probably told one iteration of the story. And then when they told it again on a live stream after... No, sorry. They told a story, probably their experience on a live stream. Chris talks to them. They talk it out, supposedly. Then it happens again. They talk about the same story, but then they include more details. Or they include the details I left out. Then Chris talks to them again. Again, they keep doing this, and it's so annoying. And that is why people got really annoyed that they've been doing this for 10 years. And honestly, I don't even think that it was particularly the Kiwi farms who started this, because that's one thing that they've been shifting and blaming the Kiwi farmers. No. It was your own fans and the new fans who got sick of this, all right? The constant telling of the same story with adding more details and not being consistent. And not flatting out telling the truth. And on top of that, not showing the evidence. Again, throughout this entire situation, 10 plus years, we have not seen an ounce of evidence. Again, I don't believe... good night, fuckers. Good night, Gaming Witch. Cinemation's gonna fart. Good night, game. Gooning Witch. Good night, Gooning. Yeah. Good night, Game and Witch. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Again, it's so annoying. Again, I don't expect them to record every single thing, like every conversation, every audio, every message. I don't expect that, but something. And they have stated that they do have all this stuff. However, it's not being set for a lawsuit. So what do you have to lose? And here's the thing too. It's very obvious that they're miserable in their lives. And that's another thing. Jealousy. There is some jealousy behind this. I'm sorry, but you cannot convince me that there's not some type of jealousy. Look what has happened since the 10 years since these guys left. OneyPlays has gotten bigger, and they've had so many different people. They're doing their own merch. They've also released a cartoon, Smiling Friends, which has gone big, phenomenal. Its own loyal fan base. What have these guys done in that time since? 2 games and 3 in development. Now, granted, I'm not a game developer. Straight up, I'm not. However, there are companies out there, very small indie companies, who have managed to release more games in that time span, 10 years. All right? So explain to me how these guys haven't released that many fucking games. And by the way, one of them, they sold the source code. One of them gave up and gave the source code to Chris. What? And then they're mad about it too. They're fucking mad about it. Maybe don't give the source code. Maybe actually scrap the game and don't give it to someone else. If you're gonna get ass mad about it, like the fuck? That's like saying me, I give someone $1 because I'm not gonna use it, and then I get mad that they spent it. Like the fuck? Of course they were gonna make the game themselves. You're not working on it. Like the fuck? What do you think was gonna happen? It's so stupid. So yeah. Overall, those are my issues with Ding Dong. I think Ding Dong and Julian are pathetic. That's why I consider them the future locals. I know some people were saying that my thumbnail was a little harsh or title. No, I think they're pathetic. These guys have wasted 10 years of their life. They haven't really shown anything for it. And I genuinely don't think this is going to be the last time they talk about it. I know they've said that multiple times. No, this isn't. This isn't going to be it. Because people are always going to constantly bringing it up. Whether it's new fans, old fans, or trolls, it's just going to happen. And they're going to have to deal with it. So, yeah. Do I think they're ever going to release or get out of this rut? No. Probably not. Maybe their mental health is going to improve now that everyone knows about it. But hey, how dare someone be successful? I decided I didn't want to work on and gave them. Exactly. Like, it's just so... These guys are so fucking cynical. There's jealousy behind it. And they're dumb. Honestly. Like, there's nothing more to say. And yeah, that's pretty much wraps up the OneyPlays stuff. Yeah. So, wow, we've been streaming for how long on this one segment? Oh my god, an hour. And don't worry, the next time they crash out, Skelly will cover it. Maybe, if anything significant. I will only cover it and talk about it is if, say, Chris says something, which probably won't happen. If Zach says something, or Game Grumps, or if these guys have like a massive rage and just rip like the fucking walls or something, if something interesting happens. Again, it has to be really interesting because typically I don't like to focus on topics too much, especially when not many updates are being shown. So yeah, Aftermath News is always on the case. Aftermath News will be your number one dumb news source. Exactly, that's right. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. So yeah, those are my thoughts on OneyPlays, ladies and gentlemen. So